Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So today's episode comes to you courtesy of Corey, who's been supporting this channel as a general tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like Corey, so again, Corey, thank you so much. And for the personalized deck tech, Corey chose Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, where they focus on getting tempted by the ring again and again and again. So let's jump into it. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire is a 2/4 avatar wizard with flash that costs 3 and blue. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, so that's a huge effect. And on top of that, whenever the ring tempts you, if you use a creature other than Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, as your ring bearer, you draw a card. So yeah, getting tempted by the ring again and again and again has even more benefits now, drawing a lot of cards in the process. And of course, there's plenty of ways to use and abuse that, take even more advantage of that, and yes, obviously just get all that juicy value out of all those sorceries that are now basically instants with Gandalf. So yeah, this is a very, very fun deck, and one that is incredibly budget friendly with every single card in it, including the commander being less than $1. Its estimated cost according to Moxfield is just $18.75. Now keep in mind, that does not include the cost of basics or the cost of shipping, but still incredibly budget friendly. So yeah, if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And now with all that said, let's jump into the tactics. So we're going to start things off with tactic number 1, Friend of a Friend. And first up, of course, there's Wayfarer's Bauble, a great friend for any color combination. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice, go ahead, basically an into play tap. Great land ramp for any color. Then we've got Everflowing Chalice, a very flexible mana rock. Costs 0, but you can multi-kick it for 2. It's going to get a charge counter on it for each time you kicked it, and it can tap for that much mana, essentially. So basically, give you 1 mana back for 2 that you put into it. Then we've got Arcane Signet, a great 2-turn drop. Tap for basically a blue, essentially, with this. And then we've got Ebony Fly, enters battlefield, tapped. This one, though, just taps for colors, that's okay. We are in a monocolor deck. On top of that, though, pay 4, make it into a fly that can help something else get flying as well. That being said, again, extra creatures, even out of a mana rock, can be great again, because again, our commander's requirement to be making something else in the ring bearers. So it could be this mana rock fly. Anyways, next up, we've got Felwar Stone. Typically, this can tap for a blue, man. Depends on what our opponents have. Regardless, we are a monocolor deck. We really don't care what this is tapping for. It's an efficient mana rock at just 2 mana. Then there's Guardian Idol, yet another, kind of like Ebony Fly, enters battlefield, tap, taps for 8 colors, and can also pay 2, make it into a 2/2. So again, another target for being a ring bearer. Then there's Liquid Metal Torque. This one can be a very flexible card. Tap for colors, tap target non-land perk becomes an artifact, which is other types on turn. So again, if someone's casting maybe, let's say, a Vanal Blast, or maybe we've got something that can just deal with an artifact, we can actually ensure that anything is now an artifact. Any non-land permanent can become an artifact. Then there's Mind Stone, cost 2, taps for colors. Again, very effective, very efficient, use it right away. Also, pay 1, tap, sacrifice, draw a card, so get rid of it when you need to. Then there's Midnight Clock. This one's going to get hour counters on it throughout the game. Once it gets its 12th, you basically Time Twister, okay? You get rid of this, you get rid of your graveyard, you shuffle everything into your library, including your hand, and then you say, you know what? Let's draw 7 new cards so it can reset things for you. It's not that efficient. A mana rock and 3 mana just have for a blue, but still great card draw potential there. Then at 3 mana, we've also got Warden Power Stone, incredibly efficient. Enters the battlefield, tap for 2 mana. Speed efficient, 3 and Dynamo. 4 mana, tap for 3 mana. So again, in a monocolor deck, we don't really care that much about fixing at all, so just give us all the mana. Then we've also got 5 mana, though. Guild Lotus, this one can help us fix our mana if we really need to. Tap for 3 mana of any one color. Again, 5 mana, so efficient, so effective. Get all the mana that we need to get things going. But now let's move on to tactic number 2, Temptation. And yeah, we've got plenty of great ways to tempt ourselves to get those extra value draws out of our commander. Birthday Escape can give us even more draw, though. Sorcery for a single blue mana. Draw a card, the ring tempts you. So basically, this is draw 2 with this commander. And again, it's Sorcery Speed, but our commander says, now this is instant speed. So yeah, this is just so much better with this commander. It's not even funny. Next up, Glorious Gale. Already an instant. Counter target creature spell. If it's legendary spell, the ring tempts you. So, hey, your opponent tries to play their commander. All of a sudden, nope. Also, we get tempted by the ring. Awesome draw a card on top of that. Soothing of Smeagol. We've got an instant for 2 mana. Return target non-token creatures on his hand. The ring tempts you. So again, a way to throw a wrench into your opponent's plan. Great, just do that and also get tempted by the ring. Then there's Dreadful as the Storm. Target creature's base power notice 5/5 until on turn. The ring tempts you. So even one of our tiny creatures can now become even bigger, or we can help an opponent's creature out too. It doesn't say target creature you control. Again, the ring tempting you gives you the ability to draw a card on top of that, though. Then there's Elrond, Lord of Rivendell, a 3/2 elf noble for 3 mana. Whenever it or the creature in the battlefield you control scry 1, it's the second time the ability to resolve this turn. The ring tempts you. So yeah, get more creatures in play, and all of a sudden you can keep getting the ring to tempt you with this. Then there's Inherited Envelope, yet another mana rock that can help us ramp. Enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you, and tap for 1 of any color. So again, not as efficient as we might want it to be, but still, hey, if it's a mana rock that ETBs and draws us a card essentially, yeah, that's quite nice. Then there's Scroll of Isildur. Hey, Saga, the first level counter, gain control up to 1 target artifact as long as you control Scroll of Isildur, the ring tempts you. Cool, let's just take someone else's Soul Ring or whatnot, ramp a ton temporarily. Second one, tap 2 target creatures, put a stun counter each of them, so slow down some creatures. The third one, draw a card for each tap creature target opponent controls. That can be quite a bit. Next up, Rangers of Ithilien, a 3/3 Vigilant Human Ranger for 4 mana. ETBs gain control up to 1 target creature with power lesser power for as long as you control Rangers of Ithilien. Then the ring tempts you. So again, get control of something small. That's fine. Keep it for as long as you have this, and also getting that ring to tempt you. That is quite nice. Finally, Horses of the Brunian. Return to 2 target creatures or his hand, scry 1, the ring tempts you. So again, another way to throw into your opponent's plans. Again, typically this would be sorcery speed, but with this commander, now whenever you want essentially. Just throw into your opponent's plans, bounce some creatures, scry, also draw. What's not to love about that? Now, as good as all these cards are, there's one in my opinion that stands above the rest, and that's the golden pig of this deck, which is Thought Reflection, a crazy good card. 7 mana enchantment. If you draw a card, you draw 2 cards instead. So this is very simple, very effective, but again, our commander can give us a lot of card advantage with that, tempting of the ring, card drawing, and all of a sudden now it's going to be 2 cards instead of just 1. Of course, this doubles up all of our other draw effects, and we've got a lot of great ones that we're going through here shortly. But yeah, being able to say, yeah, every single card that we draw is now 2 cards, including just our regular card that we draw each turn. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely worthy of the title of Golden Pig. But now let's move on to tactic number 4. The search begins, because we've got even more ways to draw even more cards, and of course we've got some ways to take advantage of that as well. But yeah, Mind Spring, a great one. Sorcery for X, blue, draw X cards. But again, sorcery is not really a sorcery with this commander. It's, again, basically an instant speed spell. It's basically an instant speed because it's got flash thanks to our commander. So just play this when you need to, dump all that mana into it, draw a ton of cards. Speaking of which, we're nowhere near done just yet. Silver Scrutiny, basically the exact same thing. It also can cast Flash if X is 3 or less, but again, that doesn't matter for this commander because, hey, cast anything with Flash that is a sorcery. Compulsive Research, again, Sorcery Speed, 3 mana. Now it's an instant. Target player draws 3 cards. That player then discards 2 cards, discarded land. So basically, draw 3, discard 1 in most circumstances. Then Ingenious Mastery, another X mana spell, can dump a ton of mana into this. Again, would be a sorcery. It's not anymore. Can pay just 2 in a blue rather than paying its spell's cost if you just want to do that. Basically, you're going to be drawing 3 cards. An opponent creates 2 treasure tokens, scries 2, or if you dump all that into the X, you get all that delicious card draw at instant speed. Secrets of the Golden City, next up. Ascend. Yeah, we're in Commander, we're gonna get the city's blessing. So essentially, again, this is draw 2, but instead it's gonna be draw 3 at instant speed with that city's blessing, thanks to our commander. Then there's Concentrate. Basically, blues harmonize, but again, with this commander, it's even better because it's instant speed, 4 mana, draw 3. Deep Analysis, another great draw spell. Draw 2 cards at Sorcery Speed for 4 mana. Also flash it back for 1 in a blue and 3 life. Well worth it. Again, basically 6 mana in total, and I guess 3 life too, to draw 4 cards again with instant speed for this commander. Then there's Drawn from Dreams, Sorcery Speed, but not anymore. 4 mana, look at the top 7 cards of your library. 2 of them go to your hand, the rest go to your library in a random order. A lot of great value can be had out of this. Go grab those crucial cards that you need off the top. Then there's Cosmic Epiphany, 6 mana, Sorcery Speed, but again, instant basically. Draw cards equal number of instant source cards in your graveyard. That's going to be a ton, so have fun drawing all of that for just 6. Overflowing Insight, again, an amazing card. Sorcery Speed, draw 7, but again, this commander, instant speed. Right before your turn starts, like, oh, your opponent's like, oh, they only have 1 card. What can they do? And all of a sudden, yeah, 7 mana, draw 7, instant speed right before my turn. Thank you. Then there's Treasure Cruise, 8 mana, but basically never going to cost that. Delve, you can just, delve that away to just down to 1 mana, draw 3 cards for a single mana. Again, even better now at instant speed. Basically now just Essential Recall thanks to this commander. But now let's move on to tactic number 5, Remember When, because yeah, we're not done with our spells, and sometimes we want them back. Recall is a great one. XX in a blue. Choose and discard X cards, and then get X cards back out of your graveyard. exile this card. Essentially, hey, again, if we've got those tempting effects we need back, go get those. If you need your draw effects back, go get those. If you need your finishers, go get those. Flood of Recollection, a great way to get back an instant sorcery spell, though, just 2 mana. This gets exiled. Again, instant speed, basically, again, thanks to our commander. Yeah, have fun with that. Next up, Call to Mind. Go get back any instant sorcery from your graveyard back to your hand for 3 mana. This one does not exile, so we can do some things with that as well. The Mirage Conjecture. Well, the first lore counter on this is return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand. Second one, return target sorcery. The third one is basically you're going to be copying every single one of your instant sorcery spells. Have fun with that. A ton of value can be had with this. Speaking of value, Kyrie the Swirling Sky. When this dies, you choose one of 2. Return any number of target non-land permanents to total mana value 6 or less in our hands. This can just get rid of a ton of our opponent's things, including essentially every single token they have, because those tokens have a mana value of 0. On top of that, mill 6 cards, return up to 2 target instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. So again, if this is the other choice that we have, well, hey, you know what? You need to get some things back. Go get those things back instead. Finally, there's Said and Done, a very flexible card. Sorcery for 3 mana, return target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, or Done. Again, instant speed, tap 2 target creatures. They don't untap their controller's next untap step. Use whichever side you need for the situation that you are in. But now let's move on to tactic number 6 and talk about some huge plays. With some, well, huge plays like Mass Diminish, a great card. Sorcery Speed for 2 mana, but again, with this commander, instant speed, and that makes a big difference with this card. Until your next turn, creature's target player controls a base power toughness 1/1. You can also flash it back. So basically, unexpectedly out of nowhere, kind of like sudden spoiling, all of a sudden all your creatures are tiny. So yeah, someone's swinging out with their army at you or someone else, and you're like, now they're just 1/1s. Very easily to deal with. And again, you can do that twice. Next up, speaking of twice, Swarm Intelligence, a fantastic card. Whenever you cast an search spell, you copy that spell, 2 targets to the copy. Again, all the spells that you have, again, all those ring tempting effects, all those giant draw spells, all the other effects that we've talked about, now double those up. Get twice as much value, twice as much fun. This can be an absolutely massive play for you. Now let's move on to tactic number 7, Quick Draw, because, yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of value out of drawing all of these cards. First up, Ominous Seas. You can cycle away if you don't need it, but if you do need it, whenever you draw a card, you get a foreshadow counter on this. By removing 8 foreshadow counters on it, you get an 8/8 Kraken. So that can be absolutely huge, making an army in absolutely no time. Again, just think about this with thought reflection and just be able to get to these Krakens in no time at all. Again, instant speed, draw a ton of cards, make a ton of, Krakens out of nowhere, make a giant army, take out your opponents, have fun. Speaking of which, Chasm Skulker, a 1/1 that gets a counter on it every single time you draw a card, which again is going to be an absurd amount. On top of that, when it dies, pop, it makes a ton of squids. 1/1, unblockable to players that have islands, squids, so have fun with that. Next up, Nadir Kraken. Very similar, 2/3 Kraken. Whenever you draw a card, you can pay 1. If you do, you get a counter on this, and you also make a 1/1 tentacle creature token, so you can fill the board pretty quickly. You can also fill the board, though, with your spells. Murmuring Mystic, a 1/5 human wizard. Whenever you cast it into Sorcery Spell, you get a 1/1 bluebird with flying, so you can fill the board quite quickly with that. Again, so many spells in this deck. Speaking of which, Tolerant Sky Summoner, make even better creatures. A 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. Whenever you cast it into Sorcery Spell, you get a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So again, your opponents will not know what to do, because again, all your spells, all your instant sorceries are, well, now basically instant speed. So you're just going to be saying, okay, attack me. See what happens. I'll just cast spell after spell after spell, make my army, swing at you with them. Goodbye. Then there's Whispering Wizard, another one that really benefits from our commander, giving all of our things flash, essentially. 3/2 human wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 white spirit creature with flying. Triggers only once each turn. So this one even benefits from our artifacts and whatnot. But also, hey, just on your opponent's turns, just cast one of your sorceries. There you go. You benefit from that, getting another creature token. So yeah, you can fill the board in no time. Then there's Body of Knowledge. This can take advantage of our massive hand size. Star, power toughness, equal number of cards in your hand. Again, we can draw a ton of cards very easily. You have no maximum hand size. That's lovely, keeping all those juicy cards that we're drawing into. On top of that, whenever it's dealt damage, draw that many cards. This can get massive. This can get huge. If you can get it through, your opponents are going to be done for. And then finally, Psychosis Crawler. Speaking of done for, hey, it's power touch equal number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Just draw a ton of cards, drain your opponents in absolutely no time. Again, sorcery speed, like, Mind Spring type cards, like, oh yeah, okay, I drew 10 cards. Oh, you each also lost 10 life. Value. But that's on to tactic number 8 to talk about ways to throw a wrench into our opponent's plans with Vanish into Nothing. And first up, we've got Void Snare, a single blue mana. Bounce any non-land permanent back to its owner's hand. The only downside of this card is that it's a sorcery, but again, with this commander, no downside at all. Flash speed for this one. Then there's Curse of the Swine. X blue, exile X target creatures for each controller exile this way. Give a 2/2 board. Again, normally it would be sorcery speed. Now this is a great board wipe at instant speed. Get rid of all those pesky creatures. Sure, they get a 2/2. Not a big deal at all. Then there's Raven Form. Get rid of any pesky artifact or creature. Exile it. Get it away. Get rid of it. You can foretell this as well. You give them a 1/1 bird. Not a big deal at all. Next up, Consuming Tide. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Everything else bounces. Then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you. And again, 4 mana. Normally it would be Sorcery Speed. Now you got all these instant speed, just massive bounce spells. Have fun with that. Speaking of which, Whelming Wave. Sorcery for 4 mana. Bounce all creatures except for Krakens, Leviathans, Octopus, Serpents. We can actually just take advantage of those again. You know, we've got like Nadir Krang. We have those things essentially in play that just don't bounce when this is played. And again, 4 mana, instant speed now. Then there's Aether Gale. 5 mana. Again, would be a sorcery. Now it's instant speed. Bounce 6 things. This can be absolutely massive. Basically a one-sided board wipe in many circumstances. Then there's Brawl's Expertise. 5 mana. Bounce 3 artifacts and or creatures. Also cast something small for free. 4 or less mana value. Again, normally sorcery speed. Now instant speed. Then there's Devastation Tide. Bounce everything. Bounce absolutely everything. All non-land permanents back to those hands. Again, sorcery speed. Now instant speed for 5 mana. Or hey, if you miracle it, cool. Just 2 mana instead. That's huge. Then there's Flood of Tears. Again, yet another way to bounce everything. Return all non-land permanents to one's hands. If you have 4 or more non-token permanents returned this way, you can put a permanent card from your hand for free on the battlefield. That can be a huge effect. Speaking of which, River's Rebuke. A great way to say, you know what? We're going to set you back. Return all non-land permanents target player controls to his hand. Basically a 6 mana, 1-person Cyclonic Rift with this commander again, because we can instant speed do this. Say, you thought you were in a good position. Now all of a sudden you've got nothing. Everyone, let's take that player out. Thank you. Now let's throw a wrench in our opponent's plans even further in tactic number 9. How about no? First up, we've got Negate. Counter target non-creature spell. Very simple, very effective, very efficient. Yeah, protect something, deny something, whatever you need to do. Then there's Unwind. Counter non-creature spell. Untap to 3 lands. Again, and we'd essentially say, no, don't do that. Also, I get my mana back so I can just, use that mana to dump it into this giant X spell as well. Then there's Commit to Memory. This one is fantastic with this commander. Put target spell on and permanent in Source Library second from the top. That's nice at instant speed. Also on top of that, again, Memory would be a sorcery again with this commander. It is an instant essentially. Each player is going to shuffle their hand and graveyard in a library, then draw 7 cards, reset things. It's a great way to do that. Basically a time twister out of your graveyard at instant speed. Now let's move on to tactic number 10. After we've talked about all the non-land cards in this deck, let's talk about some great lands. And first up, we got Fairy Conclave. Enters battlefield taps for a blue. You can pay 2 mana to make it into a 2/1 blue fairy with flying. Again, giving ourselves even more options for creatures or temporary creatures that we can tempt the ring. That's great. So we also have Mishra's Factory. 1 mana, make it into a 2/2. Again, yet another option to say, yeah, we can tempt the ring with this factory. I don't know how that works, but it works. Then there's Mishra's Foundry, finally. 2 mana, make it into a 2/2 as well. This can also, help assembly workers. Don't worry about that. All you care about, again, it's a very, very good utility land that you can utilize as a creature when you need to, and also utilize it when you need to have it tempted with the ring. But yeah, as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to hear from you. So comment below with your thoughts on this. If you are a fan of this deck as well and you want to check out that deck list, make sure you do so in the description below. Consider picking it up. And yeah, as always, of course, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.